That's a very strange sight out there. It's a very popular public lake in the state of Oklahoma, and there's not another boat, not another soul anywhere on it. There's a good reason for that, and it's a reason that you could use to help you put a lot of bass in your boat this coming fall. We're going to talk about that and a bunch more. In for a lot of fun. Glad you're with us on this week's episode. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hey everyone, I'm so happy you joined us for this week's episode because it's my favorite time of the year. There are a lot of reasons why you should go fishing in the fall. We're going to talk about that on this week's episode. It is a beautiful fall day. Bright sunshine, warm temperatures in the 70s, and we're going to go bass fishing today, and I've got a beautiful lake to help demonstrate what we're going to be talking about. Just over my right shoulder, I'd like to welcome you into beautiful Sardis Lake. It's set up in the scenic mountains of eastern Oklahoma. It's about a 14,000 surface acre lake. It's fed by three major arms, the Jack Fork Creek, the Anderson Creek, the Buffalo Creek. We're going to be taking the Tracker Pro Team 195 out on the lake today. We need that kind of a boat for this kind of a lake because of all the standing timber, much of it just under the surface. So you got to be really, really careful if you're coming here for the first time until you learn the lake a little bit. I'm going to be showing you some techniques that will work to catch bass in the fall months, not only here, but on the lakes and rivers and reservoirs where you live. And while we're doing that, we're taking you around the region for your latest fishing reports this week from our expert team of insider reporters, freshwater and saltwater, from right where you live. We're in for a lot of fun today. Glad you're along with us. Let's get the Tracker Pro Team 195 out on Sardis Lake in Oklahoma and get you started back at the studios with our weekend planner.
According to the Salooner tables, it looks like both days of the weekend will offer fair fishing conditions. Expect peak morning activity to begin a little after sunrise, with the best evening action starting at 7:34 on Saturday and 8:23 on Sunday. Look for the sun to rise at 6:54 and set at 5:28. And evenings will feature a moon that is 40% visible. Stay with us for freshwater and coastal fishing information from around the region. Plus, I'll return with Mr. Crappie Wally Marshall for this week's Ask the Pro feature. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Came off that little stump and ate it. Decent bass. There we go. Came off that little stump and ate it. Decent bass. Just hoist him in like that. All right. We got us a bass. Pretty good one too. Welcome back everybody, glad to have you with us. We're doing some fall bass fishing on today's show. That one hit a paddle tail swim bait right there for you. Just a average size bass right there. Beautiful specimen, very healthy. We'll put that bass back. In the fall, you really want to key location-wise on one main thing, and that is creek channels. All the shad, the bait fish in the reservoir will tend to migrate to the mouth and then back into the creeks in the fall. They migrate all the way back. We're actually sitting in a perfect creek channel. It drops off to about 15 feet in the channel, comes up on the ledge to about 3 feet. It's perfect for the bass because they can migrate up and down that ledge. They can stay in the safety of that 15-foot channel, but on warm days, warm afternoons, when they get hungry, they can move up on those flats on the sides of the channel and feed in 3 to 5 feet of water. Stay on that edge and you've always got a good chance to catch a bass in the fall. Fishing report time for you right now from where you live.
Hey friends, Cajun Phil here with you. Fox Sports Southwest Louisiana Fishing Report. I tell you what, the weather's good right now. Cloudy, overcast. Temperature's not real hot, not real cold. It's good fishing right now here in Southwest Louisiana. Let's talk about freshwater fishing. Up on Toledo Bend right now, they're catching lots of white perch. Catching them both shallow and deep. Shallow water, they catch them on little tube jigs. Deeper water, they use in shiners, fishing treetops. As far as the bass fishing goes, they catch them in all depths. Shallow water right now, spinnerbaits or crankbaits working really good. Drop shot or Carolina rig in the deeper water. Lots of bass being caught right now. Give Toledo Bend a try. Let's go to saltwater. That's what we do for a living. I tell you what, I just got a call from Captain Kevin. They already limiting out. I'm talking about, and it's early today. They got their limited redfish for like 20 days in a row now. Every boat's been coming in with a limit. Then they go out and catch some trout. One of our boats caught 60 really nice trout yesterday. The birds were working. Shrimp coming out of that marsh, and birds were working. And I tell you what, whew, whenever the birds are working, all you got to do is just see the birds, go in front of them, work that plastic really fast, and you're going to get some good action. The redfish are coming from shallow water. They're coming on popping carp, some with plastic, some with shrimp. Doesn't seem to matter if you want to limit quick, use live shrimp. Plastics takes a little bit longer, but you're going to catch them on plastic. Color doesn't seem to matter right now. Till next week, this is Old Cajun Phil for Captain Kevin. Get happy fishing. May God bless you. We're going to see you folks next week. Bye-bye.
There we go. Not a big one. Well, let me explain to you what I'm doing here. The technique that I'm using. It's actually working. Just a little small bass. Going down through here, and as I'm fishing the edge of this creek channel, there are some of these broken off stumps that are all out here in the water, just a big creek full of timber. The ones that are the obvious ones sticking out of the water are the ones that everybody that comes back in this channel throws at. But what I'm doing is using my Costa sunglasses with the 580 glass lenses, and I can actually scan this surface with my polarized lenses, and I can actually see the little dark spots, and those are the broken off stumps that are just under the surface of the water, anywhere from 6 inches to a foot under the surface. And I'm swimming the swim bait across the tops of those stumps. Throw it past those about 10 feet and wind it across the tops of those, keeping that bait about a foot, foot and a half under the surface. That's a real good way to get bit and buy a big one in the fall. Stay with us. We're coming back to Sardis Lake in Oklahoma for more fall bass fishing right after this. You got yourself a mouthful of swim bait. There's one, right off that stump. Oh, good fish too. All right. You got yourself a mouthful of swim bait. All right, welcome back everybody. We caught a good Sardis bass right here. We are going down this really shallow water in Oklahoma, but let me tell you, everything we're talking about today, you can do where you live. These fish are doing this in the fall all over the southern half of the country. They do the exact same thing. No matter if you're at Clarksville or Guntersville or Toledo Bend, they're all getting up here in this shallow water in the backs of these creeks. There we go. It's really amazing. They go where the bait fish go, and when those shad swim up in these balls, these clumps up in this shallow water, the fish will come in behind them, and there is no water too shallow that you can fish. So you get you a spinner bait like that. You get you a swim jig, that's a rattling crawler like that, or the swim bait. Let's pan the camera over here real quick and just give you a look at some of the surrounding terrain here. But I can promise you that there's nothing you're looking at right there that's any deeper than 3 feet, and a lot of that water you're looking at is a foot deep. Hey, it's fishing report time for you. Let's find out what's happening from an insider reporter where you live.
Hi folks, and welcome to another Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by the Brecklin Ranch. Now, many places offer trophy hunting. That's nothing new. What makes Brecklin different are the people that run the ranch. You'll be part of their family when you come down and hunt with the folks at Brecklin, and they want to remind you that kids 12 and under will hunt free with an adult hunter this season. Be sure and check out Brecklin Ranch online. Now this week we're going to go to the Tri-Lakes in northeast Texas. That's Bob Sandlin, Monticello, and Cypress Springs. And the first thing we want to point out is the news that's been reported on Monticello. The power plant, after 40 years, is going to be closing in January of 2018. Now the lake won't be closing, they'll just be shutting down the power plant. It won't be a warm water lake, it'll be a standard wintertime fishing pattern. Right now, you can still fish the points and mouths of the creeks with your topwaters and your spinnerbaits early in the day, then transition to your Texas rigs and your jigs. At nearby Bob Sandlin, you'll find the same bite going on as far as your topwaters and spinnerbaits, then jigs, and of course your Texas rigs. And Cypress Springs has a ton of boat docks, which means on days like today where you have a clear high sky and it's post-frontal conditions, you'll have a lot of places to throw those wacky rigs and shaky heads around those boat docks for your bass. In addition, you'll find a lot of brush piles where you can catch crappie on Cypress Springs. That's been this week's Lone Star Lakes. Now check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, Texas Outdoors Journal brings you this week's report, and our November issue is now on sale on newsstands with a great lineup of timely hunting features and columns. Plus our team of pros will let you know about the fall fishing hotspots on area lakes as well as the coast. Pick a copy of Texas Outdoors Journal on newsstands or subscribe and take advantage of our Christmas special at texasoutdoorsjournal.com or call 713-957-3997. Well, it's time to think about slowing down that retreat. Water temperatures continue to drop, so fish will not respond as aggressively until things warm during the middle, warmer portion of the day. When fishing the birds, heavier jig heads and spoons will allow for longer casts, as well as a slower, deeper retrieve. Good action for trout, redfish, and flounder continue on the upper coast. Along the shorelines of San Antonio, Aransas, and Corpus Christi bays, plus the lower Laguna Madre, side casting to redfish and trout are options for those wading and drifting areas. From Baffin Bay through the Land Cut, either side of the Port Mansfield Channel, up into the Arroyo and Brownsville Ship Channel, a variety of options and species are available. This weekend, Saturday's a 3-tide day with 2 low tides and just 1 high. This Sunday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
There's another one. All right, well, we've got fish moving. Here we go. There's another one. All right, well, we've got fish moving. Quickly, let me tell you 3 reasons why you should go fishing in the fall. There's a chunky little Sardis bass right there. Number 1 is you don't have to sweat as much. You get some really nice days out here in the fall. Not too cold, not too hot. Number 2, all the hunters have vacated. They've all gone to the deer blind or the lease. Kids are back in school. I launched my boat this morning and there were only 2 other trailers on the boat ramp. And number 3, the bass are conditioned. They're created by God with an instinct to feed in the fall. Why? Because the cold winter's coming. They won't get to eat a whole lot in the winter, so they actively feed. You got a chance to have some really good days out here. 3 reasons why you should fish in the fall. Time for more fishing and lake reports from where you live.
Hey, we talked last week about that great smallmouth bite happening at Skytook Lake here in Oklahoma. Well, it turns out that smallmouth bite is happening in many places across the state right now. Zach Van Coolen from the Tulsa area and some buddies had a phenomenal recent outing to Lake Tenkiller. They caught good numbers and good quality smallmouth bass. Had some largemouth too, but by far the smallmouth dominated their catch. The guys had their best success on the biffle bug in the green pumpkin variations rigged on a 7/16 ounce hardhead. And then, like the guys were doing at the Skytook, they're targeting the shallow, windy, rocky shorelines. This time of year, if you have that north or south wind rolling right down the shoreline that's got good rock on it, bait fish activity present, you're going to catch good numbers of smallmouth. They also caught some fish on jigs, and they also had some topwater action on the whopper plopper. That topwater bait seems to be doing well at many places across the state at this time. Smallmouth bass fishing has really heated up here in Oklahoma in the past few years. Some other great fisheries, Lake Texoma, you can go there right now, and also Lake Eufaula. Fish those areas on the dam end of the lake. That's deep, clear water, so the days that you have some cloud cover, and use that wind to your advantage, especially those north and south winds that are rolling right down those northern southern banks. You'll have a lot of good shallow activity for smallmouth bass. Such fun, great fishing here in Oklahoma in November. You can catch them, but you can't catch them if you don't get them.
This is the absolute prime fall spot right here. Got him. Come out of there. Coming at me. Come up here. All right, there's one more for you. There's a little chunky bass. One more for the Sardis special this week. We're just about out of time. The sun's starting to break back over I think these are the Kaimishi Mountains here. Just a beautiful scenic scene here. The wind's calmed down, perfectly dead calm. There's your one more bass right there. That one goes back. Let me tell you something real quick. This is the prime fall spot. I just mentioned that right before that fish bit. Why? My trolling motor is sitting in 10 feet of water right now, right in the creek channel, the bottom of the ditch. But you see all these stumps right in front of me here. They're in 1.5 feet of water. So it's a really good, sharp ledge. And then the other thing is we've got some bait, some shad flicking on the surface right here in front of us. You combine those factors in the fall, and you've got a great chance to catch bass. It kind of slowed down this afternoon, so I picked up a Texas rigged biffle bug. And we've caught a few, including a couple of small ones. In fact, I'll show you one that my brother, the cameraman, caught just a minute ago, followed by another one that I caught. So we've caught boom, 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 3 in a row. Quickly, let me mention that if you'd like to stay where we stayed here, you can stay at the Clayton Country Inn, little town of Clayton, Oklahoma, just about 3 or 4 miles from the dam of the lake. Not much there, but Brenda and her crew at the Clayton Country Inn will put you up right there. And that's where we stay when we come to this area. And if you'd like to book your very own guide trip here to Sardis Lake, catch some of these bass, Chuck Justice is your man. He guides here regularly and he can put you right on the fish. You can contact him at the information you see on your screen.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday at 5:30, or catch the repeat airing Saturday morning at 8. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Luz, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional insiders. This week's question comes from James, who asks, how deep will crappie go during the winter? For the answer, we asked the man they call Mr. Crappie, Wally Marshall.
The colder it gets, sometimes the depth is around 30 feet, but I've actually caught crappie on Lake Fork in 55 foot of water. I'm talking about not the depth of the water, I'm talking about I caught them that deep in the coldest winter times to where your rods were icing up, and it would just be a peck. You could, because with monofilament line at that depth, you got to make sure you got a sensitive rod so you can feel that strike. But the deepest I've ever caught a crappie is 55 foot on Lake Fork in East Texas.
Thank you, Wally. If you have something to ask one of the pros, Simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now it's time to give away a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Hey, it's time right now to give away a free pair of Costa sunglasses in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. Here is this week's winner. He's Michael Clay of San Antonio, Texas, with a 10-pound, 1-ounce largemouth bass he caught out of Somerville Lake in Central Texas from a kayak. And here are a couple of bonus bass also from Somerville. Mark Clay with a 7-pound bass and Jill Rhodes with a 7-pound hybrid striper. Those two are not winners, but great fish nonetheless. If you'd like to be our next winner, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the instructions to send us your big fish photo. And you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at their website by going back to our homepage and clicking on the Costa logo right where you see it there. You can see all of the great 580 polycarbonate and glass lenses and all of the different frame styles and colors, including one of my favorite frames I was wearing on this week's episode called Cat K. Next up on our gear segment, here's some of the gear we used to catch the bass on this week's episode, beginning with a 7.5-foot medium heavy action Lew's TP1 speed stick rod. It's the white rod that you see with the wind grip handles, the microwave guide system. It's a great rod, a good stiff action rod for some of these plastic baits that we were throwing this week. Now I'll show you a couple of tight shots of the lures we used. On your left, it's just a round ribbed swim bait. It's a plastic swim bait about 5 inches long, and I had it rigged up on a 1/4 ounce weed guard lead head. And then on your right is a Texas rigged Jean LaRue biffle bug. It's an all-around great bass bait for almost any time of the year, but a great bait for fall, especially like this afternoon when those fish slowed down, became a little more difficult to catch. The biffle bug rooted them out. We're in the process of ruining our oceans with plastic. Did you know that every single minute the equivalent of one garbage truck load of plastic is dumped into our oceans? Humans produce 200 billion plastic water bottles each and every year. Many of those wind up in the waterways, in the oceans. It takes thousands of years for those to break down, and when they do, they're ingested by fish and wildlife. As a matter of fact, it's predicted that at this rate, by the year 2050, there will be more plastic in our oceans than fish. What can you do? A campaign by the Costa Sunglasses Company called Kick Plastic was introduced last year. You can go to their website, follow the Kick Plastic area, and find lots of things you can do, including stop using these plastic bottles. Get yourself a reusable bottle and a jug, put it in the boat with you and use it all day long. Stop using single-use plastic bags. These things wind up in our waterways and break into thousands and thousands of tiny particles. Many more things you can do, including our fly shops are getting in on the act. I was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming just this past year buying some flies to go fly fishing. They put those flies in a little cardboard container, and sure enough, under the lid it said Kick Plastic. They used to put those in a plastic container. No more. They're being put in these cardboard biodegradable containers. Go to the Costa website, click on the Kick Plastic area, or even easier, go to kickplastic.org for lots more information. I hope you enjoyed today's show from Sardis Lake in eastern Oklahoma. Beautiful weather, lots of bass. I think you would enjoy a trip here, but more importantly, use this information that we showed you today on your home lake to catch more bass in the fall months. Let me remind you of one additional way you can watch our show. You can download the Waypoint TV app for free, and you can watch us on any device, your smartphone, your tablet, laptop, desktop, any of the smart TVs, Apple TV. If you don't have cable or satellite, you can watch us on the Waypoint TV app. Download it for free on your device. We'll see you next week. Till then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.